Edie Lush and I'm outside the Hub Culture Pavilion here in Davos, about to eat one of my favorite chocolates. And I'm here with the CEO of Divine Chocolate, Sophi Tranchell. Thank you so much for stopping by on our food day.
That's excellent. I'm pleased to be here.
Now tell me, you have 85,000 bosses.
I sort of do, because what's special about Divine, apart from the chocolate, is that a cooperative of cocoa farmers in Ghana with 85,000 members own 44% of the company. So each year, when I'm not coming to snowy places like this, I have to go to Ghana and I have to report to them on how their company's doing.
How extraordinary. And so tell me, how is it doing? How is it changing the lives of some of these farmers?
Well, we're doing quite well. I mean, so we're turning over £12 million. We're working mainly in Britain and in America, and we pay a guaranteed minimum price and premium for the cocoa. So that means they get extra money that they decide how they spend, and we invest 2% of our turnover in working with the farmers on projects that they agree with us, and then they also get 44% of the profit because they own 44% of the company. And so we've created lots of income streams for them. Recently, we've been really looking at the work that they've been doing on women's empowerment, and so since they set up in 1993 they've been committed to women's empowerment, and they've had quotas at a village level. And
tell me about that.
it means that if you want to set up the committee in your village level, you've got to have 2 out of 5 women. Okay. And then if your committee's bigger and there's 7, then you've got to have 3 out of 7 women. And they've really talked about how having women in their group is really important, and how it sort of creates a community in their area. And we all know that women spend their money more sensibly. So if you can get better income to women, then they invested in their families and in the community and in health and education. So they have been very successful in doing that, and 35% of the membership are women. So that's quite amazing, because that means they're all cocoa farmers, and that's quite unusual in an African context.
And so tell me a little about what you think the next steps might be for Divine. Are you thinking about going outside of Ghana, or do you like staying in one place?
Well, we started to work with farmers in Uganda to help them diversify. So we're working with some vanilla farmers, and we've helped them develop cocoa capacity in drying and fermenting, and we've taken the first cocoa from them. So that's sort of supporting them to diversify and have a bit more of a secure future. But in terms of what the work we've actually done with the women farmers in Ghana, we've found quite an interesting thing is that, and it's a thing the world over, I think, is that the level of illiteracy is making it quite challenging for them to take leadership positions. And so we've worked with them and the Department for Non-Formal Education in Ghana to do literacy programs so that they can build their skills in literacy and can also then take up leadership positions. It's interesting, and it's worth sort of thinking how disempowering it is not to be literate. Yeah. So if you were given a bottle of medicine and you can't read the instructions, it's quite scary. If you can't work out which bus to get on, because it don't know where it's going. And so the women are really responding to that, and I'm really pleased that we're taking women from Ghana to both America and Britain in March, so that they can speak for themselves and tell people their stories.
How extraordinary. And tell me just a story of one woman, for example, that you've seen really blossom and change as being a part of Divine.
Well, one of the women who's sort of become my friend, really, is one of the women I met very early on, who's a woman called Comfort Kumia. And when I met her, she was 50 and she hadn't really left her village. And I met her with one of her children in her farm. And in 2008, we launched Divine in America, and we did it on Capitol Hill on Valentine's Day. And the snow was actually nearly as thick as this. It fell overnight.
Oh, really?
And so we were up to our sort of knees in snow. And her and I were there, and we went and did a briefing on Capitol Hill. And she spoke to launch her company. And what an amazing change in her life, which is sort of, absolutely, she becomes a role model in her community and somebody who can share it with her grandchildren. And so I think those sort of transformative stories are just so inspiring.
Sophi, thank you so much for stopping by the Hub Culture Pavilion here in Davos, and I'm now off to eat my chocolate.
Lovely to meet you.
Thank you.
Thank you.